The Binding of Isaac Tarnished mod released a complete rework for Tarnished Maggie, and a big update for a fan project was released for Edmund Mcmillens' overlooked platformer, The End is Nigh. This and more, including a live whoopsie from Edmund himself, are present in today's episode. I want to tell you all about it, but first I need to inform you that this is the latest episode of Weekly Meat, the Isaac and Meat Boy news segment that does not come out every week. To start, let's go ahead and take a look at what's new for our usual headliner, the Tarnished mod. Or at least, that's what I would normally say, provided we didn't have this amazing hiccup from Mcmillens' latest unboxing of Isaac stream. You see, in the latest video on Ed's channel, he discovered there was actually a giant mistake with one of the items included in the latest Isaac box coming out. Mistakes like this are nothing new, especially for physical prints of card games, but they're still quite entertaining regardless. Have a listen.
You have +2 damage for the first attack roll. Each attack... Wait. You have +2 for your first attack roll. Each attack beyond your first... Wait, what? Okay, this might not be the final version. Because this is... Okay. You have +2 damage for your first attack roll. Each attack beyond your first each turn. Okay, this isn't correct, right? I'm not... Okay, am I reading this correct, right? This isn't worded correctly. It's supposed to be you have +2 for your first attack roll each attack beyond your first each turn. So it'll be I'll just read it on the card. Uh-oh. Okay. You have +2 for your first attack roll. Each attack beyond your first each turn is what's on the card. So we missed that.
Gotta love it. While I adore my physical releases and my printed media, I certainly see the appeal of having digital-only card games, considering stuff like this can happen. And even outside of that, if a balance change needs to be made, it's much easier when you can just update the card in-game. This reminds me, those Requiem 4 Souls boxes are inching ever closer, and I am personally super excited for my own to arrive. But let's move on to the Tarnished mod. Tarnished Maggie has gotten a rework that will release alongside Wave 4, so the same time that Tarnished Keeper gets released. I'll go ahead and sound off the big changes to her design for you. What you're about to hear is practically word for word from the Tarnished Discord server. Bleeding has been completely overhauled and is now one of Tarnished Maggie's core mechanics. Now bleeding has been completely revamped and is a mechanic shared between Cardiac Arrest and TR Maggie. You are no longer always bleeding, and instead CA adds 1 full heart's worth of bleeding on use. The number of bleeding hearts goes down in half heart increments as you bleed through hearts. Maggie also receives 1 full heart's worth of bleeding on enemy damage, not on self-damage. To compensate for this change, CA now only deals half of a heart of damage on use. Picking up extra hearts on full health has also been completely changed. Instead of giving you a damage boost, the extra hearts that you pick up are now added to a bonus heart counter. If there are hearts present here, the bonus heart counter will be drawn from when bleeding instead of your main heart containers. And if you hit a certain threshold of bonus hearts, you will be given a new heart container and your bonus hearts will be drained. Your number of bleeding hearts will also be drained by the same amount of bonus hearts lost to compensate. There's even more changes coming, such as the fact that she gets a speed boost when she takes damage, and even a completely redone sprite sheet with her own UI. Definitely getting Tainted Samson vibes with this one. I love risk-reward styles of play. I might actually be looking forward to playing as her more than Tarnished Keeper. I should also say that I love the fact that the new sprite sheet represents Tarnished Maggie's new theme, showing different expressions for when she takes damage to reflect that she enjoys taking pain to use her mechanics. I think most fan developers would have just tweaked the numbers and called it a day, so I think this says a lot about the effort being put into the production. Keep your eyes on this channel for more updates as they become available. There's additional news regarding all things Tarnished in this video, but before we go over that, I wanted to briefly touch on the Shattered Spectrum mod. A major update was just released that adds an entirely new area, and it even has its own original music track. In addition, some of the screen transitions for previous areas were fixed, and there are even completely new sprites. Kinda sweet. The levels on screen definitely look fun and make clever use of one of my favorite level objects, the dissolving blocks. With how focused Mcmillen currently is on Mugenics, it's safe to say that if you absolutely crave more End is Nigh at this exact moment, it's much better to indulge in the mod scene than wait multiple years for a sequel, if we even get that. The Revelations mod is getting a visual overhaul for its glacier area, and if you ask me, it looks much better. This was a popular request regarding this news segment, and I'll be sure to cover it more in the future instead of just not at all. Revelations is one of the big mods right alongside Fiend and Tarnished, with 3 new bosses, 15 different enemies, and multiple new areas at least. It's definitely guaranteed to add dozens more hours to the already giant amount of content inside the Binding of Isaac. Here's hoping it's compatible with Fiend and Tarnished in its upcoming Repentance version. In addition to the Shattered Spectrum mod mentioned earlier, the End is Nigh's 5th Anniversary Edition fan project will be getting an update that adds some new cartridge-based levels. These stages are pixelated, unlike the illustrated, smoother visuals in the mainline areas. 5th Anniversary was already bursting with content, and between this and Shattered Spectrum, it's reasonable to say that you'll be set for End is Nigh content for the foreseeable future and beyond. Both are getting new content all the time, so it's good to keep your eyes on both. Also, I should bring this up. There's actually another really cool End is Nigh workshop submission on Steam that makes the world map look similar to Super Meat Boy. With how interconnected Nigh is compared to its predecessor, it's definitely neat to see it in this format. Be sure to give the creator some love. Link to the workshop page for this, as well as everything else we've talked about today, in the description. Bringing it back to the Tarnished mod, in addition to the Tarnished Maggie rework mentioned earlier, you can also expect challenges. These are similar to what you've come to expect from the challenges in the base game, but as you've probably guessed, these will put focus on the Tarnished characters and their abilities, such as this one that starts you off with Tarnished Kane's bag doing no damage. Instead, you'll start with 2 items on the floor in the starting area to create a bag with, and all bags crafted will gain an additional Ludo effect. Adding challenges is awesome not only because they're a great divergence from normal Isaac runs, but because it further makes the Tarnished mod feel like a natural extension of the main game, which I think is the best thing any mod can strive for. Since we've already talked about so many cool mods in this episode, what's one more? If you've seen SlayXC2's most recent videos, you'll know that earlier this month, a mod was created that lets you play minigames in the Binding of Isaac. There are 8 different minigames defined, and you can play them via arcade machines similar to the Crane game. Sadly, it was not designed with co-op or certain modded characters in mind, but here's hoping there's a fix released at some point in the future. I'll go ahead and include a link to Slay's excellent video showcasing this below. And now for this episode's off-topic section, where we cover video game news that isn't necessarily related to Edmund-related games or happenings. Clay has just revealed a character rework for Wickerbottom and Don't Starve Together that changes the books she's able to craft. In addition to other changes, there's also new character and object skins for her too. If Wickerbottom isn't your preferred character of choice, you might be happy to know that Wartox got some changes as well, including the cost of souls proportional to the distance traveled, and how much hunger he gains from eating souls. I'll go ahead and link the full patch notes in the description, as well as the new Wickerbottom animated short that they just released. If you're familiar with Clay's animated shorts already, you'll know full well that they're always very, very high quality. And while it's a bit of a hard segue, I should be completely transparent with you guys and let you know, as I have before, that tough times have fallen on the channel. I was recently let go from my day job, and this channel, as well as the generous support I receive from a handful of my viewers, are the only source of revenue I currently have. If you'd like to have me make a video based on a game you like, you can become a supporter with the link in the pinned comment. I recently released this video because it was requested by one of my viewers, so definitely let me know if it's something you're interested in. There's also a Discord link in the description. We're trying to hit the 500 member mark. It's a very active place. I think you'll really enjoy it, especially if you play the games featured in today's video. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful night. Booba.